Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here today with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey David, how you doing tonight?
Yeah, pretty good. Family day was a nice, relaxing day. That was good. I'm sure everyone could use that. And I mean, every day is a little bit the same. Even family day is not that differentiated. At least for those of us working at home. At least people who are going out have a completely different experience of the pandemic and deserve our admiration. Anyway, Bruce, it was a woolly and wild 6-5 loss to the Winnipeg Jets. Man, that team I think is good. I like the Winnipeg Jets. They have a lot of guys who can snipe and score. And the Oilers had 15 grade A chances to 10 for the Jets. So, the story on some levels, goaltending. Mike Smith's not able to make a save early in the game. This is our Two Good Things, Two Bad Things, and Two Numbers podcast. Bruce, I will start it off today with just just a real quick comment about my good thing, Alex Chason. I like the player. I know that he's not universally liked in oil country, at least on Twitter, which is a pretty tough crowd. The Oilers Twitter crowd has historically been, can have a pretty hard edge to it. And people are not thrilled with his contract, which is it's not an outrageous contract. It's not a great contract, but he's up until now paid for that contract, I think. And tonight, he just played well. He all year long, Bruce. He has yet to make a mistake on a grade A scoring chance against, a major mistake chase on a grade A scoring chance against. He's a very, very smart and solid defensive player, and he's also offensively smart, and that's what we saw tonight on his two goals. He got up ice. Devon Shore made an absolutely brilliant pass.
He did.
Up ice pass, but Chason had snuck in behind the defense, and he got a semi break and whipped it past the goalie with a great shot. He can really shoot. And the second one I liked even better in some ways because he had made a pass, and then he did the right thing, Bruce. He went to the net. And Evan Bouchard got one of his 11 shots at net, missed the net, I think. Tyler Ennis scooped it up, put it out to Chason, and Chason, because he was going to the net right to the slot, he got the puck, made a little move, and put it in the net. Just a great, smart NHL veteran goal. And we've been complaining a little bit about the vets not playing like vets, some of these depth forwards. Well, Chason certainly came through tonight with a very big performance, and I think the Oilers are really close, Bruce, to having a solid bottom six and he's part of that. I think he's most definitely part of it.
He's an ace fourth liner, I think. I mean, you can look askance at the contract. The way I look at it is that they pay him $1 million for even strength and $1 million for power play, and it's not all that far out of line because he's he's good in both disciplines.
I like your
like
thinking.
You say, he does little to hurt the team. So,
yeah, he's not making costly defensive blunders that cost the Oilers so badly this game. It was just, like I mentioned Smith, Bruce, and he's not one of our bad things, but and it's because of the 4 goals that went in, they were all grade A chances. Like one of them there was a couple that were kind of borderline grade A chances, but the last 2, but they were wicked shots, both of them. And he needed to make a save, but he needed to make a save. What's your bet? What's your good thing?
Oh, well, I got to credit the Oilers for making the comeback from dead in the water, 4-1 down, and Tippett yanked Smith at that point, put in Koskinen. They pulled it within 4-3. Winnipeg got 1 goal on a slot deflection to extend the lead to 5-3, and the Oilers just kept pouring it on. They scored late in the second. They scored again early in the third to tie it up. And unfortunately, the Oilers tied in the third period are not a safe hockey club.
They are not.
They have, their last 5 regulation losses in a row, their last 5 losses in a row have all been in regulation, and they've all been in games where the Oilers were tied in the third period. So they're just not able to, sort of stabilize and lock down a tie game. Not that anybody really was going to lock down this game, probably, but I mean, this is a repeated pattern where they come back, get a tying goal, and then they give up one against right away. It happened at least twice tonight. in the
Yeah, it
first
was kind
period
of
and then again in the third.
discouraging.
So that
What's
part is discouraging, but the comeback itself was, I mean, it was the pace of play. I mean, the second period, the Oilers outshot Winnipeg 22-9, and they were just flying out there. And the buzzer just couldn't come soon enough for Winnipeg, and fortunately for them, three of their nine went in, and only three of Edmonton's 22 went in, and that was kind of the tail of the tape all night.
Let's segue to your bad thing, Bruce, because we're going to go in order now through the goals
Oh,
against
okay.
as our bad thing. So what is,
Okay.
you're going to take the first two goals and
Yeah,
what
the first two goals, both in the first period, and they were both turnovers by the same Oilers player in his own territory, Kyler Yamamoto. Both times under pressure. I'll give some credit for the forecheck, but one was on the penalty kill, and the Oilers worked and battled to finally get a chance to clear the puck, and the puck came to Yamamoto, and he froze for a split second and got the puck checked right off his stick and back into Winnipeg possession, and from there to the back of the net in fairly short order. And then in between those goals, he had same player again. Yamamoto had a brutal turnover in Edmonton or in the attacking zone, where he made this weak dump pass back somewhere in the direction of the point, but it only made it about halfway. And there was a jailbreak the other way that Tyson Berry put out that fire with a diving stop that broke up a 2-on-1, but another poor giveaway. And then on the 2-1 goal right after Edmonton had tied the score 1-1. Again, there was a lot of 50-50 puck battles. Jujhar Khaira had one where he sort of lost the battle and then he got a piece of the puck. And Slater Kukuk, same thing. He kind of lost the battle in the corner, but he came out in the slot and he got the puck. And between them, it came on again onto the stick of Yamamoto, and he just flipped it. It looked like it may have been deflected, honestly. I have to look hard at that goal. But again, just not strong on the stick, not making a heavy or heady play with the puck, and it went right to this guy Kyle Connor, who knows what to do with pucks in the slot, and bam, in the net that one went. So I saw like it looked like three pretty brutal turnovers by Yamamoto in the first period, and two of them wound up in the net.
Yeah. On the first goal, Bruce, I really hated the cross seam that opened up between Yamamoto and Nugent Hopkins. And
Mm-hmm.
especially Yamamoto, when you're in
Yeah,
that position, he had his stick on the wrong side. Like
yep.
he's trying to block the pass to the point.
Oh,
What are you worried about the pass to the point at that point? That's not, if they pass it to the point, he's not going to score. You have a chance then to go out and block the shot. But if you're going to allow that cross seam in that moment, they're going to score. So that was like, he's been a very good penalty killer, Kyler Yamamoto. So that was one of the first mistakes he's made on the PK. Might even be one of the first major mistake on a
two
grid.
different mistakes right in a row.
Say right now the puck I think was knocked off his stick on the
Mm-hmm.
turnover.
Yep.
He was going to turn it and then he got hacked. That happens now and then. But the cross seam, that's a mental error rather than he just kind of lost the battle, the physical on the turnover. And Nugent Hopkins as well wasn't covering anyone with his stick in the slot, in the defensive slot,
Oh,
and he also allowed the cross seam.
yep.
And both of those guys.
This, the
I think
seam was narrow, but the both sticks were on the wrong side, and the
yeah.
guy who sifted the pass through, I know for sure it was Shifley who got the shot, and it was a rocket right inside the post. Great shot. It was a fine pass by Blake Wheeler, who's a fine passer, but the lane was there because sticks were really not in a good spot.
So we now segue to my bad things, which were on the third, fourth, fifth, and
All the other
sixth
goals.
goals. And I'm going to single out like one or two players on each
Mm-hmm.
goal. There was a number who have culprits on all of them.
Yeah.
So on the first one, um, which play was this one? This is the third goal. Oh yeah, okay. They break in over the blue line, Winnipeg, and it doesn't seem like a very dangerous rush at all. Nugent Hopkins is kind of shaded. He's on the guy coming in over the blue line, and Nurse decides to come in for the hit,
Mm-hmm.
and he goes for the hit, kind of takes him out of the play. He's out of the play then because the Winnipeg player just drops it back to the trailer coming in, and then there's just brutal coverage from Cuckoo, as you noticed, on this play because Instead of going right to that shooter, he's kind of backing away. Like there's no other Winnipeg Jet in the area. I think he's thinking there's another Jet coming down that he has to cover off on a 2-on-1, but there's no one. It's just him and the
There's no
shooter.
one
He
there.
has all kinds of time to come over to that player
Paulie
and
Harvey
shut
had come
down
back. Yeah.
that shooting lane, and he's just kind of lets the guy come right in and snipe it. So Bruce, that was kind of Nurse. When I watched it again, I was a little more forgiving of Nurse and a little less forgiving of Cuckoo. I think he was the major culprit on that one, although both of them I didn't like their play at all on it. The next
It
goal,
was a 2-on-3 that turned into a 1-on-1. And then the 1-on-1 was just poorly defended. And Smith, I mean, I think he has to have that one. Like the angle that shot came from, the 5-hole was pretty gaping.
yeah, maybe. Well, you're going to do the review of the chances. You might change it too. I had it as an A chance
Yeah,
initially.
it's an A chance, but you still need some saves on A chances. I mean, the Winnipeg goalie was stopping some.
You need 3 out of every 4 A chances stop, Bruce. If you're an NHL goalie, you stop 3 out of 4 A chances, and Smith let in 4 out of 4. So he only had 4, and he let them all in. So not his best night.
No.
Uh, the next one is just a kind of a broken play, but I really didn't like Larson's play on it. He
Same thing.
lost the puck on the boards, and it goes towards the corner, and Lawgisson's there on his man. Larson doesn't have to go over to that man. He can go cover the slot, like he can go cover a passing lane, and he kind of hustles down there to help out Lagesson. Well, Wild Bill does not need your help. I can assure you, Wild Bill Lagesson knows how to play players one-on-one. It was a big loss when he went out in that game, Bruce. That guy is really impressing the hell out of me. Anyway, on that play, I didn't think Lagesson was to blame, but Larson kind of got sucked over there. Just another kind of quick. Hockey's hard. Like I get it. Like
Hmm.
things are going fast and hockey's hard, and just a momentary like, oh, like I'm going to follow the puck rather than
Hmm.
understand that the puck carrier now is covered by my teammate and I have to go somewhere else. But it was a mental mistake by Larson. Goal number 5. This is the point shot where Kyle Turris. Listen, the hardest play in hockey to cover in some ways, like I think generally speaking, is the deflection. Taking the guy's stick in front of the net and lifting it
Hmm.
so he can't deflect it. I mean, who knows where the puck's going to go often, and it's a hard play. But this play was pretty slow developing, and Turris was just standing right beside the guy, and he didn't really make an
Back
effort.
backing away from him, to my eye.
Yeah, I just don't understand Kyle Turris, honestly. Like for a veteran player who's supposed to have come here in kind of a third line
Hmm.
defensive role. Um, Either he's completely and utterly miscast for that role, which is a possibility, or he's lost a step, and or both. Both could be possibilities, Bruce. He's really struggling. The 6th goal. This is the winning goal where now Dominic Cahoon got benched for this play. He makes a neutral zone turnover, which was pretty egregious. It was an egregious mistake, and it was hard to recover. I didn't particularly like Draisaitl's play on it though, because Winnipeg again is coming down. The guy's going into the corner. I think there's a defenseman and Cahoon are kind of covering off the Winnipeg player with the puck, and Draisaitl makes it a third Oiler guy, if I'm not mistaken, on the puck carrier instead of covering the point. I mean, Cahoon is in the defensive center position at that point, and the puck goes back to the point, and it's one-timed on net and deflected in. So that's Draisaitl could have made a better read there, better defensive read. But it's happening fast after a turnover. After a turnover, things happen fast. Bad things happen fast, and it's hard for players to read on the fly. But so the main culprit there was Cahoon, and he paid the price. And he may pay
Brutal.
the price going forward, Bruce. I
Hmm.
don't know if that line is going to sort of survive game time next game. May not. We'll
Oh,
see.
I think he's going to find himself in the press box next game. That was a definitive benching to my eye, and a deserved one. I mean, that's just a brutal play, and it cost him the game. I mean, it's a game of very narrow margins and split-second decisions, and that time, they just came back to tie the game 5-5, and he's got the puck for a clean breakout, and he tries to beat a guy at his own blue line, and back into the zone it gets, and instant cluster occurs, and like we had, we gave assigned blame, as culprits on the goal. Um, Cahoon for the turnover, Draisaitl for allowing the outside shot, and Bouchard for allowing the tip. And to me, if there's a dollar's worth of blame to go around, 90 cents of it is on Cahoon and a nickel each on the other two guys. It was that turnover that really caused the problem. And honestly, Bouchard, you know, he was on the wrong side of Blake Wheeler for where Wheeler's stick was to make that deflection. I mean, the only way for Bouchard to get at the stick is to go through 230 pounds of Blake Wheeler. And I don't know too many defensemen who are going to be able to do that. So I'm really not sure what he could have done different. But
Well, in your review, Bruce, if you want
Mhm.
to take the like that, I wouldn't quarrel. I would quarrel with.
I'm
I
still
think
thinking
Draisaitl
about it.
could have made a good read on that. Could have made a different read and made that play. But there's an open point shot. There's a
Mhm.
reason, and it's not just because it was a little bit slow developing. It wasn't like just lightning fast that play developed. It was a little bit slow. But I agree on Bouchard probably that may not be a. It was nothing he could have done on it. Bruce, what's your number?
I'm going to go with 30 minutes and 48 seconds. That is the ice time in this game for Tyson Berry.
Wow.
28:04 at even strength and just 2:44 on the two power plays that Edmonton was afforded in this game. And it was, uh, again, it's a score effects kind of thing. And because they were down a defenseman, because Lagesson, I guess he got hurt in the first period. I never did see what happened to him. Did
Second, no,
you?
I think he played a
He
little bit in the
played
second.
part of the second, but he'd already been banged
Yes,
up and he
there was
couldn't
one shift.
continue.
There was one shift where he went off really quickly. In the
Hmm.
first period, he took a big hit. He had a collision
Okay.
with someone else, so he
Oh,
might have hurt his
okay.
shoulder or his head. I'm guessing.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, what a loss. I
Yeah.
mean, that
Well,
guy.
that's yeah. Well, they sure missed him within the game. I mean, they got other defensemen they can stick in there, but they couldn't tonight. But because of being down to five defensemen, because they were down by two or three goals for much of the game, or one goal, Barry and Nurse played a ton. Nurse played 27-18. Barry played 30-48, as I mentioned, and 20-23 for Bouchard. So they were all three seeing major minutes down the last part of the game. And Barry, two assists plus one. He did get a penalty in the game, but four shots on net. Like he was a very involved player in this game, and I don't know. He's not. Doesn't look to me like the guy the Oilers should be getting rid of at the deadline because Evan Bouchard's already beaten him out of a job, like I've been reading on Twitter. But
Oh, I don't get that,
what
Bruce.
do I
Like,
know?
if the Oilers make the playoffs, they have a chance to win the Stanley Cup. You're not
Yeah,
trading away a guy who can help you win the Stanley Cup at the deadline. Like, what kind of thinking is that? I
it's
honestly
thinking
don't
of
get it.
years of being out of the playoffs by the trade deadline, where you have to cash an expiring asset for something. But expiring, you rent your own players, and when you're in the playoffs, and I think that's a no-brainer that he's here for the entire season. And tonight
Is
he
that a
showed part of the reason why. He's a real dynamic weapon out there, Tyson
yeah?
Berry.
Is that a proviso on the trade talk that like that the Oilers are out of it by then, and then they
No,
make the trade?
no, just
They think if the Oilers are in the
he's
playoffs.
not that good. He's the seventh best defenseman on the team, according to some schools.
Oh, okay.
And
So these are
Evan
people.
Bouchard's clearly better, and so is Caleb Jones. Anyway, I don't want to go too far down that road, but some of this stuff confuses me a little bit. I mean, they brought the guy in to add offense to the blue line. The Oilers are leading the NHL in goals from the blue line. Tyson Berry has 14 points in 17 games. He's not the first guy on the list I'm going to be pointing fingers at.
Yeah. Well, I expect Caleb Jones will be in the next game.
I
I mean,
do
if
too.
Lageson's hurt, he'll be in. But Cuckoo could come out. Slater Cuckoo's been kind of inconsistent and
Yep.
iffy, and that was one of his weakest games. So I could see him coming out and Caleb Jones coming in. I think it's like that should happen at this point, and hopefully Lagesson isn't hurt because that would be
Bear too, right?
yeah. And Barrett could also go in, and I think Gaetan Haas, if he's healthy, is going to go in for Kyle Turris finally because um, that should on merit that should happen. So I'm expecting that it will. Uh, Bruce, my number. Well, I just wanted to mention with Tyson Berry, as much as even strength as he played, he made not one major mistake on a grade A chance against this
Wow.
game. And, there has been a little chaos. He makes
Yep.
a
Oh
higher
yeah.
rate of such mistakes than any other Oilers defenseman. So, like, people, if you have a criticism of him, and that's what it is, well, it's a fair criticism. He has been slowly bringing that rate down, and this game will help. This game will help in that regard. Larson and Lagesson have been, far better at limiting grade A scoring chances than Nurse and Barry. Darnell Nurse had a pretty good game though. Like on the attack, he was very involved and nice rush. Bruce, my number is it's two numbers. It's 6-0 and 1-2. So the 6-0 is Connor McDavid at even strength. Made six major contributions to grade A chances and didn't make one major mistake on a grade A chance against. Yeah, I just think he's been playing great two-way hockey this year, and this game was indicative of that. He was just forcing the play, making all kinds of great rushes of the puck, passing the puck, set up Archibald in the slot once, set up he set up all kinds of players throughout the game. Let me just see if some of the other ones, but just he was fantastic. I mean,
He
he
couldn't
didn't.
quite break through with himself. Like Winnipeg did a really good job of defending against his rushes, and they
Yes, they
kept
did.
disrupting his rushes. Anything that he tried to go down the middle, if he took it to the outside, he would find space. But anything down the middle, they'd get a stick in or they'd get a piece of him somehow and disrupt it. At least
He
push
did.
him to the outside.
Yeah, he had that. Well, he set up Paulie Harvey in the slot in the first
Mm-hmm.
period for a one-timer,
Mm-hmm.
for a good
What?
shot, and then
Where, where he banked it off the back of the net twice in a row to beat the guy behind the net. He passed it off the back of the net to himself twice in a row, and then after the second one, he fed it out through Nugent's screen right to Paulie Harvey, and he ripped a shot on net. That was
another
good.
one at even strength was he went in over the blue line and put it back to Paulie Harvey, who made an absolutely gorgeous pass to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who made an absolutely gorgeous finish. So two fantastic plays on that goal. But I just thought McDavid this is his strongest total hockey that he's played in his career, strongest two-way hockey. And I know some people think, Draisaitl should win this Selke. And I'm honestly not seeing it so much. I see McDavid playing slightly superior defensive hockey to Draisaitl consistently. And I saw that this game as well. Draisaitl even strength was one contribution for and two major mistakes against. So he struggled tonight. His line struggled. They were on for the one goal, but they were on with McDavid at that point. And, I think if they're going to shake up the lines, it looks like what he likes to go to, Tippett, is to Draisaitl, McDavid, and Yamamoto.
Mm-hmm.
And we might see that as a line. I've talked about that in the past. I don't think that's any kind of solution for the Edmonton Oilers. I'm really starting to like, that was Paulie Harvey's fifth consistently really good game in a row with McDavid. I wouldn't be breaking that up. And you're like, what if you're gonna break it up? Like, why don't you put Paulie Harvey out there with Draisaitl if you want this power line? Paulie Harvey.
This baffled me tonight. Paulie
Yeah,
Harvey, in the last 6:45 of the game, he played one shift of 30 seconds.
yeah,
One
and he was
shift,
flying.
30 seconds, and he had 5 shots, 8 shot attempts. He made that great pass on the 5-5 goal that tied the game earlier in the third period. Like, let's bench that guy. And meanwhile, Yamamoto down the stretch, and I like Yamamoto a lot, so don't get me wrong. But after the last TV timeout, he had a shift of 2:13 and another one of 2:18. And he had one shot on net the whole game, one shot attempt the whole game. It was a deflection. It was a goal, and it was a great deflection by him. But it wasn't like he was a constant offensive threat to anywhere near the extent that Paulie Harvey was. And why Tippett twice went to Yamamoto for 2+ minute shifts and left Paulie Harvey cooling off on the bench? I have no explanation for that, David.
He likes going to McDavid Draisaitl. He thinks that works.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really didn't work at all last year. Bruce,
still
it
has
was
the
not.
choice for third guys, doesn't he?
Yeah, he still has the choice for third guys, but then it screws up all the other. Like, it screws up putting out the line that's just Nugent Hopkins, Paulie Harvey, and McDavid. They finally clicked on a goal, like a non-McDavid goal. Nuge finally got one. He's off the schneid. He playing at even strength with McDavid, and then we hardly see that line down the stretch. Bruce, I didn't like that. I didn't get it.
It's not like they weren't creating stuff with the lines that they had. So like
Yeah,
some games, if you're down a goal and you got nothing happening, then you mix things up down the stretch. But this was a game where generating offense from their existing lines wasn't a problem, and yet so this one, I mean, he made some good decisions tonight. He, pulling Mike Smith when he did, but at least kept his team in the game, and uh, anyway, the use of his young right wingers in the last few minutes of the game, when one was going way better than the other to my eye. Like
yeah.
when I'm grading this game, Paulie Harvey is going to get a lot higher grade than Yamamoto, and it's not just those defensive mistakes, but Yamamoto, he played 21-35 in this game, so he didn't get benched the way Cahoon did, that's for sure. And just kept going back to him. And he had some okay moments, but I just didn't think he was really on top of his game.
He came out like gangbusters at the start of the year, right? First 4 or 5
Yes,
games,
first
looked
few
like the
games
best
he
player
was
on the ice,
great.
and
He
he
was really
has
good.
faded.
And
I mean, and I could make my customary, my usual pitch to see the dynamite line again, but I'll refrain from doing that because people have heard it
wow.
5,000 times. But I still don't get it
You
anyway.
talk about the Draisaitl scoring chances tonight. Well, neither of his wingers was really on his game tonight, and
No.
on McDavid's line, the two wingers both played pretty good, and that's part of the reason why the differential in those scoring chances.
What a difference I think it makes for the Oilers in terms of realistic options. Having Paulie Harvey playing so well, suddenly you have a winger to play with McDavid, who plays really well with McDavid, which isn't easy to do, but Yessa can keep up to him
Mm-hmm.
and play with him. I just thought he looked really good today, looked confident and like he fit right in there. And this was like it's absolutely crucial that Nugent Hopkins score because
Yeah.
he's cast as the sniper and the sniper's got to snipe. So maybe we'll start seeing that. I mean, he almost got a great power play goal late in the second period too on a one-timer shot from a
Oh,
Draisaitl
what a
pass.
save!
Yeah, yeah.
That was
There's
a
the
better
game right
save
there.
than anything the Oilers got all night. That
Yeah,
was, yeah, I thought they executed that perfectly. I was stunned that Hellbook got to that one.
yeah.
And he did snipe too. And especially the one that tied at 5-5 was a rocket right under the crossbar. But he had a great chance in the last 20 seconds, where McDavid fired a shot pass and Nuge needed to get a little bit more graphite on it to tip it home, and he just couldn't make solid contact, and that was really their last chance.
Oh yeah. I think I wrote a little note to you there, like Nuge, get your stick on the ice. Because if he had it like Chase on, like, wedged it,
Yeah,
like Chase on is so smart in that
get the heavy
situation.
stick down
He's
there, you
got that
bet.
heavy stick down on the
Hmm.
ice, like ready, and just then you can deflect it in. I like Chase on the power play actually. I like to see Yessa Puljujärvi out there and getting that
He
opportunity,
was, he
but
was
Chase on is
screening on that play that
there.
Nugent Hopkins missed the tip. It was Chason that was in the goalie's eyes again, and that's
Yeah,
a specialty of his.
yeah. So Nuge just had his stick in the air and didn't get it down quickly enough, and there you go. All right, Bruce. Well, let's leave it there. You got game grades to write, so
I
let's
do. It's a
move along.
loss. It must be Bruce's turn.
Don't get a complex about this.
It's getting frustrating, man.
I hear you. I know. I had a couple losses to start the year when I was grading us, and I was starting like, what's going on? What's going on? Anyway, all right, Bruce. Thanks for talking tonight.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.